Hey everybody, Kevin.
Hi.
Wake up. Hi there. So we are here in the interview series with Kevin at trucking school, hoping that you can get some insight into what that might look like, what you're doing every day. So we are in the final stretch. Today is day 2 of week 4. And we're very excited to see how the day went because it's getting close now. It's getting close. So, hi, honey. Welcome home. What happened at school today?
Well, funny you should ask.
Unexpected, too,
I
right?
went to school. We did the roll call. We started shuffling trucks around, trying to match up trailers and cabs and all of that, checking oil levels and things, and then it was time to do the vehicle inspection practice thing. Everybody's doing the inspection. Then I noticed the list was out there,
Ooh.
and people were signing it. I've been watching for that because I wanted to get on. Nope, I was number 11 today on the list. And so by lunchtime, half the day's gone by. I had not done the maneuvers yet. There was one guy ahead of me, and then it was my turn. So I knew if I got that turn, I wasn't going to get another turn for the rest of the day. And 2 trucks went out for a ride. So a lot of guys from my class got to go drive today, including my buddy Dan. So that's like a 6th time going out. So
He's got lucky charms.
We don't understand what the system is for sending people out for a ride. I've been out twice. He's been out 6 times. We came through the class. We started the same day. We did everything the same.
Right. And there's some other people who've been out like only once, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
No rhyme or reason. It's really
Bizarre.
So what happened was we went. So I spent the morning reviewing so I can write my endorsements sometime this week, and did my vehicle inspection. Got all that down pat. I was talking to a couple of the guys, and. So there's another fella from California came over here to test at our facility because the backlog is so bad in California. You won't get tested for months once you finish your course. So there's a Chinese fella named Meng. He lives in Los Angeles. He makes sushi in a grocery store, for the deli counter or whatever.
Oh yeah, yummy.
And yeah, I like sushi.
We love sushi.
Yeah, love it. And so we had a lot to talk about. And so I said, so. Are you going to get time to practice with our trucks because they're probably different than at your school? He says, yeah, maybe today.
Right, because he just got here.
Yeah,
like, you're not saying he was part of your class.
No,
he just
arrived yesterday. So I met him yesterday, and then I was talking to him today. And his scheduled test time is 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I said, like, what kind? I know you practiced at your school the same maneuvers everywhere, but what kind of truck? He said, short trailer, 26 feet. Ours are the full size.
Which is 53 feet for the trailer.
I don't know if ours are 48 or 53.
I think it's 53.
And I said, what kind of truck? Did it have the sleeper? He said, no. I said, so it's shorter too. Yes. So he practiced on short little day cab, short little trailer. I said, these trucks are much longer. So we started talking, and I gave him the whole list of, turn your wheel this way, do this, turn your wheel that way, do that, how to count it out, what to look for, check this tire when you're here, then do this. So we did the whole thing, and he started writing it out, all in Chinese.
Wow.
All those weird picture characters.
Symbols, that's awesome.
The whole thing. And then he read it back, and we went over it, and I said, no, that's a left turn, not a right turn. And turn it this way. So then he corrected, and he got it all straight. So he was very happy with that. I did it for
That's great.
The offset and the parallel parking.
That's very nice of you, honey.
Because he said with their trucks they turn sooner, and they I said, no, you would have been knocking over a lot of cones. So it helped him a lot. He was very happy with that.
And can I just say, when you're learning something, to really get the knowledge into you, or to see if you have absorbed it, you teach it. and so you kind of took that second step actually now, because now you've shown somebody else how to do it.
It reinforces what you've learned if you're able to pass it on to somebody else.
Awesome.
So then it was lunchtime at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Went for lunch, and the guys that went for a ride had just come back. So after lunch, I knew it was one guy, and then my turn, and I'd get to do the maneuvers. And I'm thinking about it after lunch. I'm like, if it's my turn to go for a ride, then I'll miss my turn doing maneuvers, but I really want to go for a ride,
Sure.
so it's worth it.
Yes.
So, but he gets in the truck. He's doing the first maneuver. Took him 3 tries. Then he goes to line up for the second maneuver. He's on his 4th try when the instructor finally gets up and goes over and says, "Now here to do this and do this." I'm like, oh my God. And then
This was someone from your class, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
he does like half days, so I think he's been there a long time. And he's
Okay.
doing like 4 hours a day. He's gonna take his time getting.
Oh, is this the guy who's still working at
Nope,
Amazon?
not that guy.
Not that guy.
So
Not a guy. Yeah, not that guy.
now he's been in the truck a long time.
Okay.
And I'm standing there ready to jump in the truck at any second, and I see a guy, one of the instructors, coming with the list. And I said, "Yeah, if I'm going for a ride, I'll miss my turn here, but I want to ride." So
Absolutely.
I walked right up to him. He says, "Get in that truck. You're going for a ride." So
You're like, yay, finally!
So I ran to the bathroom.
Smart.
Then I got in the truck.
And you drank
And-
something?
Yeah, and he said,
Okay.
"Warm it up." I started warming it up, and after about a minute, another guy got in the truck, and I said, "How many times have you been out for a ride?" He said, "Like 4 times." I said, "All right. So really, the first time I went, I just went around the block. The second time I was good, but it's been a week. It was last Tuesday. I finally got to drive. So I'd feel better if you got in and did the first turn, and as soon as I see how everything's done, I'll be fine." He said, "Oh, okay." Didn't mind. So he got in the driver's seat, and then there were 2 other people got in the truck, and then the instructor gets in. He goes, "I thought you were in the driver's seat." I said, "Yeah, but it's been a week. I'll watch him, and then I'll be good." "Ah, you chicken!" He starts calling me names. and
Oh my
stuff.
God, he's shaming you?
That's his style.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I've been waiting to go for a ride with this guy because I've heard about this stuff. He's calling you names, he's swearing.
Oh my
he's
God.
Like, you're coming up on something, he's like, "No, do it now, now," and he's going, and yeah. So I wasn't. I don't like that teaching style. I think the other 2 instructors that took us out for a ride were great. They inspired confidence. Everything was relaxed. Nobody was panicking. These guys are the total opposite. So I was ready for it anyway. But
Because people had talked about it.
yeah. And even like Dan, I talked to Dan before I went out, and he said, if you get this guy, just think of it like one of your teenage kids, how they're like, get in your face and say mean things to you, and they're like, and like wild emotional outbursts and profane language and that sort of thing. He says, yeah, just take it like you're a parent, I said,
Okay.
"Oh, okay.
Or I'm picturing like an army sergeant, when
Nope.
the newbies show up.
No, we got one of those.
Oh.
He's abusive and loud, but this guy thinks he's actually funny, so he keeps it up.
Oh.
So off we go in the truck, and I told him when I started up, I said, "There's only an 1/8 of a tank of
Wait,
gas."
so you are going first now?
No, when I started the truck to warm it up, I said, "There's only an 1/8 of a tank of gas or fuel here." And he said, "Oh, okay, I'll get the credit card." So then the other guy got in the saddle.
Okay.
We took off, and he's right away like, don't turn, you're turning too late. Do this, turn in here, do this. And we finally get on the street out of the parking lot, and we went around to a place to fill up. So I got to see how we fill up both tanks at the same time. So there's like a satellite pump and the pump on the driver's side, and they're connected, so it's all on one bill. The satellite doesn't even have numbers or anything. It doesn't tell you how much you're putting in, so he had to tell me when it was enough, and then topped off the other tank, and then he paid with the credit card. But he got back in the seat, off we went again, and he had missed a lot of shifts.
And is it just 2 students now?
No, there's
there are four
four
students.
students
Okay.
and 1 instructor.
Okay.
But he, all the way to the gas station, he was like grinding, and the guy was yelling at him, and he's like forgetting to signal or leaving a signal light on way after we made the turn. And so he's pumping the fuel, I'm pumping the fuel, and the instructor's somewhere else. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I think I put you on the spot. I thought you had this, so I thought you'd be doing good, and then I just learned from you. He's like, no, apparently I'm not that good, but this is how I learned, so I got to do it. So he was cool with it, but I felt really bad that I put him in that situation, you know.
Right, but it made sense because he's been out 4 times. You just figured he was.
And I was glad I wasn't the guy in that seat at the time. But then.
And I'm sure he was nervous if the guy is like yelling at him
exactly.
like that. That adds to the nervous factor.
It doesn't help. You make more mistakes once that starts happening.
Yeah.
So next up was we went out a couple of miles, down a couple of miles, back a couple of miles, and wound up right back at the school. So no interstate driving. We weren't doing this around the box 8 times.
You weren't showing off in front of Werner?
No, we went right past Roadmaster.
Okay.
Trucking school. So get back in front of the school, and we go to switch drivers. And there was a girl with us. Mm-hmm. So she had been sitting there looking at the shift pattern on a piece of paper and talking to the guy next to her, you know, what's going on. So she gets in the seat, and she's like, I've never driven a standard before.
Oh boy.
Ooh, this is going to be good. So the instructor he was kidding, but he was polite, didn't curse at her, didn't get excited, he was talking quietly, and we just turned right, went up 2 blocks, down 2 blocks, back 2 blocks, and back to where we started. So it wasn't like miles and miles and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was her ride.
So he was nice to her.
And she got it by the time we got the first few blocks out of the way, she was shifting good. And then on the way back, she kind of lost it in the last mile or so, started crazy stuff. But she was laughing and kidding with him, and he was laughing and kidding with her. So
okay,
yeah,
interesting.
And then it was my turn.
It's always, I mean, I think that's the thing too. You have to, not get reactive, and you don't have to take the different instructor styles, personally.
No.
You're just there to do what you need to do, so you got to let that type of stuff roll off you, especially if there's differential treatment of people. You just, don't get caught up in that. Keep a positive attitude, do what you got to do. So yeah.
Then it was my turn, and I was ready. I was
keen,
thinking about everything, and he's like, "We're just gonna take it easy, right?" I said, "Yeah, it's gonna be calm."
What did you think you were gonna?
I got rolling. Well,
hit the gas and head on the highway immediately.
The first couple of shifts, we did a little bit of this, so my timing was a little off. I keep forgetting to watch the RPMs. You shift at a certain RPM, and it's just smooth as glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was double clutching, doing that part perfect. The guy before me, the first guy, was like not double. He was doing single clutches. Sometimes he'd forget, and he'd be grinding like, "Well, what's wrong?" And I'm thinking, because you didn't double clutch. And he'd just clutch and try to hammer it into the next gear and start grinding. And then the instructor's like, "Rev it! Don't rev it! Get your foot off! Do this! No, no, no!"
Oh God.
So anyway, we got out onto the main boulevard, and he's like, "You're gonna take a left at the next light," which is what we'd done before. That was cool. And then he's like, "You're gonna have to get into the turning lane." And just then a catering truck, a sandwich truck, pulled into that lane. He was making a left this way. So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I had to wait and get by him, and just then a car pulls into the same lane. He's gonna make a left across. I'm like, "Whoa!" Now I'm trying to gear down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at these vehicles, and I don't want to come in too soon and clip them. And I'm trying to get it in gear. And he's like, "No, that's wrong." Yeah. And he's like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." And I'm like, "These guys are in my lane." And now I've only got like 50 feet to get the truck over into the turning lane at the intersection where the light is red. So I've also got to stop, not hit these other vehicles. So I lost the shift right there. And you are not supposed to come up. You're not supposed to coast. When you're coming to a stop, you should be in a gear until the very last second, and then you push in the clutch and stop. So I couldn't find it, and I was in neutral, gliding into the turning lane, and still trying to force it into gear and slow down at the same time. And he's like hollering. Okay. We get off to make our left turn, and I'm shifting, and a couple of times it was a little bit, so I'm trying to watch the RPMs, and he's like, every cross street, every single intersection, you have to be scanning, checking your mirrors, checking somebody might come out after you pass the intersection. You should be looking, and they'll be taking a point off every intersection you don't do that. You don't have very many points, so that's something to think about.
Know,
so
yeah.
that was a good point to learn. And then we went all the way down to 75th, took a left, drove right past Swift,
waving, yoo-hoo!
And then I was coming up. After I made that turn, I couldn't get it into 4th, so the truck is just coasting, and he's trying to get it, and I'm trying to pump the gas.
What, he's grabbing it while
he's grabbing it and trying to yank it into gear because he thinks I don't know where it is. But the problem was the RPMs hadn't matched yet.
Mm-hmm.
Once they matched, it just slides in. And the rest of the time, I was shifting like with 2 fingers. It was like easy, just like that. I missed that one shift because I revved it too high before I went to shift into 4th. So I got to remember to watch. But I'll forget about just gently pushing the clutch, and I'll nail it all the way to the floor, and then it's grinding time. So he's like, you're nailing that clutch, don't bury the clutch. Okay. So we did that whole thing around again, and I think he said it was about 12 miles. So I got to put that in my book. 12 miles.
And I have a comment to make here, because you wanted to learn on a stick shift because you want to be able to have that on your license, because if you don't learn on stick shift, they put a restriction that you can only do automatic. But the whole industry really is moving towards automatic. So I think for our viewers here, if you feel uncomfortable with learning trucking and driving a truck at the same time as maybe learning stick shift, like if you've never driven a stick shift, you can also, keep in mind that there are schools that do have automatics. So if it feels overwhelming to you when we discuss this stick shift and clutch and in and out and double clutching and, the pattern and all that kind of stuff, if that's something that you find intimidating, don't let it stop you from getting into trucking, because most of the fleets now, all the trucks are automatic, and there's no shame in having the restriction of only automatic on your license. You can definitely get a job, and there's nothing bad about not being able to drive that stick shift. So I just want to put that out there, because people might be getting the idea that you have to be able to do that, and you don't. You can decide, I'm only going to drive automatic because it's already enough stress to just learn all the other stuff about trucking. So I wanted to just add that to the conversation.
Are you done?
Yeah, that was my ad.
Okay.
It's like a little side triangulation bonus.
Yeah. So one thing, this instructor, I'm driving down the street, and he's like, so where's your brother? How's he doing?
Oh no.
This is the same guy when Dan was with this guy last week. He did the same thing. He's like, hey, where's your brother? What's he up to? And Dan kind of ignored it because he didn't know what he was talking about. And then he named me because Dan and I look similar. We're about the same age, so people mistake us for brothers quite often, actually. Because we're often talking to each other, and so they think there's, never met the guy before, though, before the school.
Yeah, and yesterday?
Today the instructor's like, how's your brother? And I said, oh, he was out on the road this morning. He said, oh, I didn't see him. I thought he wasn't even here today. Yep, he was in the other truck with the other instructor. So yesterday...
So you were playing along?
Yeah, I knew what he was talking about. So yesterday, I'm talking to a guy who's sitting beside me, and Dan is on the other side. And this guy is like, he's talking. He's like, yeah, you don't remember me? I was showing you guys something. I said, oh yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, well, was it you or was it you? No, like, I don't know. You guys are twins, right? And I'm like, no, we're not twins. And I look at Dan. I'm like, it seems like all us senior citizens look alike to these young guys. I don't know what it is. Dan's hair is totally gray. We both have our hair short. We both wear like a baseball hat. We both have glasses. He's thin. He's 5 years older than me, but he runs. He can run 5 miles.
Fit.
Yeah, he's very fit.
Okay.
But he's very skinny.
Slim or skinny? Come on now. That's different.
A lot
Has a
of
different
mornings we're parked right next to each other too, because we both get there at the same time. We both take the same slot, and we're always talking during the day and stuff. So yeah. And then when we were in the classroom, we weren't beside each other. We were like, he was like 2 seats over or something.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. So I did my turn, and then the next guy got in the saddle, and he was all full of confidence. So he looked at the instructor, and the instructor, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're joking. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm really good at this, you know. I'm sure you've heard of me from the other instructors. You're going to be amazed. And the instructor's looking at him go, yeah, listen, don't even go there. He's like, okay, I got this. Don't you worry. And the instructor's like, whatever. You want to turn your signal on? Can we go now? Sure enough, he gets out there about 2 blocks, and he's grinding gears just like the rest of us. He's like hammering stuff and trying to bang it into gear. And he's like, stop wrecking the truck. You know, like just gentle, just get off the clutch. You're pushing the clutch. He's yelling all the same stuff at this guy that he yelled at the rest of us. So, I don't know. He set himself up or whatever. Yeah. And when we're getting back, he's like, so I wasn't as bad as everybody else, right? Like I'm pretty good, right? And the instructor's over. He's like, I haven't had one good student all day.
Aww.
Don't even go there.
Not even my honey.
No, everybody was just as bad.
Well, that reflects on the school, okay? Yeah, more time on the wheel. You need more time on the wheel.
To do with lack of practice at the stage we're in. So yesterday I went to the head instructor and I said, when can I schedule a test? He said, come and see me tomorrow. So I came and saw him this morning.
Right, because I just want to recap in case somebody hasn't seen the previous video. This is a 160-hour program. Yeah. But after 140 hours, that's when you now qualify to actually sign up to take the test.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had 120 hours on Friday, the end of my 3rd week, and so I thought I'd be eligible by Wednesday at lunchtime. So I went to him yesterday. He said, "See me tomorrow morning." So I went in the morning,
which is today.
Today, and he said, "See me this afternoon. I gotta just check that you got enough hours." So when I got back from my ride, I ran over to the instructor where we were doing the maneuvers, and I said, I didn't get a turn all day. You know, it's only 1:15. There's one guy in the truck, and everybody else had left except there were like 2 people sitting there, and he wasn't going for it. I wasn't getting the turn. And there was still one guy who had gone out in the morning on the ride, and he came back and he got his name at the very bottom of the list, and he hadn't had a turn all day either, so I would have had to wait for him anyway. So I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I was talking to Dan, and he's like, we're getting close to when we can, do our exam. I said, yeah, I'm going to go and see if I can book it now. He says, come along? He said, yeah. So he comes with me.
The twins.
Right? So Dan steps up to the head instructor first, and he's like, yes, Daniel Barton, let me check. And he checks his computer. He says, yeah, you've got 120 hours, so come and see me tomorrow, and we'll schedule your test. I'm like, that's funny. That's what he said to me yesterday. So I stood there in front of him, and I said, I'm Kevin Sloan. Let me see. Checks, yep, you're the same. I said, how do I have 120 hours when I'm getting 40 hours a week? I said, I would have had 120 hours Friday, right? Yep. So you need another 20 hours? I said, yep, that should be noon tomorrow, or lunchtime tomorrow. He said, yep, come and see me then, and we'll schedule your test. I said, oh, okay. So off I went.
That's really bizarre.
Yep.
Yesterday they said you had 120 hours.
And yesterday he said, come and see me tomorrow morning.
Right. And then see me tomorrow afternoon.
And then it was, come and see me in the afternoon. And then it was, what's your name? How many? Let me check. And then come tomorrow again. Yeah.
So Phoenix Trucking School, if you're watching this, come on guys, you need to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to be critical, but we are giving you free consulting here by showing you where you have room for improvement.
Yeah, I'm very impatient too. So hopefully I'll get out on the road.
No, Kevin.
Hopefully I'll get another turn on the road tomorrow, and then schedule it. I guess I'll be scheduling it for Thursday or Friday or next week maybe. Maybe it'll be next week. Who knows? So another thing, something happened yesterday. The guy who does the testing, he came out about, I don't know, like 7 o'clock or so, and we'd already started doing maneuvers. And he comes out and he's like, "I'm looking for so-and-so." And the instructor's like, "Hey, he's in the truck, he's doing a maneuver." "Well, get him out here. He's supposed to be testing." So the guy gets out of the truck, and the examiner's like, you're supposed to be testing Monday. Today is Monday. He's like, "No, they told me next Monday." I said, when did they tell you that?" He said, "Thursday." "So when they tell you Thursday, your test is next Monday, that would be in 4 days, right? That's today." "No, they said next Monday." This guy was arguing up and down that this was not the day for his test. He thought it was a week later. If this is his 4th week, he should be like
keen to test. Yeah.
He should be keen to test. He should be like thinking, "I'll be out of here next week. I'm not going to be like hanging around here another whole week." He was, and then they're walking back to the office to do the paperwork, and you can see they're still back and forth. "No, this is not." And the instructor's like, you should have been in front of my desk doing paperwork an hour ago. This is your day. And then the guy started doing the test, and he flunked real quick.
But how can it be his week 4 to test on a Monday? Then he would have only had 120 hours.
Maybe he's in week 5 or something.
Maybe he's in week 5. Because the math is getting weird. I'm just saying.
This morning, we're out there and moving trucks around, and we're about to start our vehicle inspections. And the same examiner comes out, and he's like, "I'm looking for so-and-so." And the guy...
Same guy?
No, a different guy.
Different guy.
And then there's a lecture. "You people should know what day your exam is. You should be in front of my desk, and we should be doing the paperwork. I shouldn't have to come. I don't mind coming out here, but it seems kind of absurd that you don't know when your test is when they tell you, So he's like, and then the guy, he's arguing with the guy. He's like, "Was it today? What?" Happened again 2 days in a row. Oh my God.
Maybe a schedule posted in the common area.
Give it to you in writing.
Yeah.
Put it on a card that you
have
can
a calendar
stick to your
up.
forehead.
Have a calendar up and put the names on there.
To me, that's the biggest day of the whole course. I'm waiting a month for that day. I'm not going to forget that day.
You're keen.
I'm going to be up all the night before. Actually.
You'll arrive at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I'll be there. So anyway, that was just hilarious. When I got finished talking to the guy about booking my test, I was on my way out to the car, and Ming, the guy from LA, was still there. He says, "Oh, Kevin." I said, "Hey." He's hanging out at the range, and I said, "Are you gonna get some practice time?" He says, "Yeah, 1:30. I get to drive these trucks." I said, "Okay, so watch out for that clutch, and the brake is really sensitive." And I said, "But you had all day, watching the other guys, so you got it in your head when you turn this way and all that." He said, "Yeah, I got it. Thank you very much for, explaining and giving it to me so I could write it down." I said, "So you were going to try and get a different hour for your test?" He says, "They won't change. 3 a.m. So he's there at 1:30. He's going to get an hour, maybe an hour and a half of practice time. He might even get to drive it on the street. And then he has to come back at 3 in the morning.
That's crazy.
And what examiner is going to be there at 3 in the morning? I'd like to know that.
I don't know.
The class isn't there. They leave at 11.
Right.
Well,
it's the early birds. They're going to do the testing at 3 a.m. and then stick around for your 5:30 a.m. class. It's the insomniacs.
Maybe it's just because they don't want any traffic whatsoever.
Oh!
So it's much safer for everyone concerned.
That's interesting. That could be it too. Because the other 2 guys that came from California, they also tested in the middle of the night.
3 a.m.
Very interesting. Oh God, I hope you don't have to test at 3 a.m.
No.
Because we're not having a celebratory tailgate party if you pass at 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m. I'll be sleeping.
No, it'll be breakfast at Denny's or something.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was a lot of stuff that happened today, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it. So, how are you feeling about the whole thing?
You know what occurred to me today? Because I hear it when other guys go out for rides and stuff, and I watch the other guys doing maneuvers and stuff like that. And I know the guys who are really good at it, like early, like the second week, and now they're starting to go for rides. You can tell they're not as confident. They don't think they're doing so good anymore. They're screwing up everybody. You know, they had the real smooth moves on the range, and now I guess that it's time to go for rides. They're feeling like they're screwing up a lot. So they're kind of getting a reset on their confidence, but it's good that they're not overconfident anyway, you know, because they're doing so good. But I think everybody's having bad rides this week, and it's the last week. We should all be really good now.
Well, maybe that just brings to the forefront the importance of starting at a company that has a good orientation and that puts you out with a trainer. And also, you know, the length of the training program, because I know everybody's keen to get on the road and make money. So, but if you have a longer training program with your first, your first job, then you're going to end up being a better driver. So that's something to consider too. Because we looked at some companies, we're like, oh good, look, you're only out for 2 weeks with the trainer. But the truth is, you might need 3, 4, 5 weeks to really get the hang of everything, because it sounds like there's a lot of different aspects to it. So that's something to think about when you're looking for the first company you want to drive for. Because it sounds like this is really just more geared towards, like we said before, passing the actual test and getting your license.
When you look at different schools, some of them will show you how to do logs, how to plan trips, how to read maps, how to, stuff about maintaining your truck, in addition to getting your CDL. So you're more prepared for the actual job.
I mean, we looked at a program back in Broward County, which is actually our home address, but it was 320 hours, I think it was.
9 weeks.
9 weeks.
And there was one-on-one time with instructors in the truck. You weren't like sharing a truck with 4 other students.
And it was less expensive, but we just didn't want to invest 9 weeks, and we didn't at this point want to drive all the way back to Florida. But if you do a program like that, you're going to learn a lot more during your actual schooling. But like I said, I think the industry is designed in such a way that I guess now you move on to a company, they have an orientation, they put you out with a trainer, so that's where you'll still, get to pick up a lot of the details and nuances and really, get your skills up to snuff to actually be able to drive your own truck on your own. So that's another good thought on that issue. All right, anything else? Any other little insights or thoughts?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, looked like something else was gonna come out of there now. Okay, all right, well that's it then. So we hope you enjoyed, we hope you learned something. We're here to answer questions if you have them, so put them down below in the comment section, or just comment, tell us what you think of the video series that we've been doing, and remember to please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for joining us today. Oh, that was the subscribe button.
Comments below.
Oh, comments below. Well, you know what to do. I'm sure you're not new to YouTube, and hopefully you've been following us the last couple weeks. And with that, we take our leave. Thanks for joining us. With love, from Kevin and Tanya. Bye.